Thomas Flores sat in the opulent office of his powerful and ruthless older brother. Pablo Flores's whole purpose in life was to climb the political ladder as high as he could manage. "He's untouchable," Pablo scowled, his fingers drumming on the desk. "Fucking Prince Charming." For him, politics was not a career but a battlefield, and that meant clipping the wings of any other prominent political figures who seemed to be on the rise. One of those was Javier Calderon, who was currently giving a speech on the muted TV. His regal presence radiated poise, and he looked unshaken despite the bombing that had nearly taken his life at the Spanish consulate. With his crisp suit and calm demeanor, Javier embodied the collective image of what a prince should look like, and that annoyed Pablo. "They're saying he was hit while trying to protect a child," Thomas observed, leaning back in his chair. "His popularity skyrocketed," lamented Pablo. "The perfect hero narrative. I doubt he was even injured for real." Thomas smirked faintly, but didn't comment, his gaze shifting from the TV to his brother. "So, are you going to tell me why I've been tasked to make Amelia Rivera fall in love with me? Or do you get off on me blindly doing your bidding?" Pablo grabbed the remote and turned off the TV with a sharp click, swiveling in his chair to face Thomas. "Falling in love is optional. Just see that she agrees to marry you as soon as possible," he said almost didactically. Thomas blinked, momentarily stunned. "Pablo, I just met the girl. Don't get me wrong, I'm good-looking, but I'm not that good-looking." Pablo leaned forward with a condescending expression. "This isn't about you, baby brother. It's about securing a future for our family." "Securing the future with a small-town mayor's daughter? Forgive me if I don't see the grand strategy." Pablo smirked. "The mayor isn't her biological parent, but you know who is? Gabriela Del Rio." The name dropped like a bomb, and Thomas straightened, his nonchalance evaporating. "Gabrielle Del Rio?" "The Gabrielle Del Rio. You're serious?" Pablo nodded, looking satisfied. "Amelia doesn't know it yet, but Gabrielle has been searching for her missing daughter for years. Once the truth comes out, every man with a shred of ambition will want her. But if she's already married into our family, that won't matter, will it?" Thomas let out a low whistle as he ran a hand through his hair. "Have you told Madame Del Rio that Amelia is her long-lost daughter?" Pablo shook his head. "That we will keep in our back pocket until the time is right." Thomas leaned forward, enticed by the prospect of his future mother-in-law. "She's the kind of woman who can start wars and end them just as easily." Pablo perked up. "She doesn't just influence wars, she holds the purse strings. A significant portion of the Department of Defense budget flows through her hands. And if you're secure, Amelia, you secure Gabriela." Thomas grinned, inspired to kick his charms into full gear to snag Amelia. "Oh, it won't be a matter of if, just a matter of when." At the Council of Foreign Affairs, Amelia's boss, Craig Schultz, stared blankly at his phone as he processed the back-to-back calls he just received. It wasn't every day he spoke to the offices of two of Spain's most powerful men, Prince Javier Calderon and Prime Minister Pablo Flores. And for some reason, both men had called to intercede on behalf of one of his interns, Amelia Rivera. They insisted she be reinstated and given the chance to take the certification exam. Craig sat back in his chair, flipping open Amelia's file. He scanned her records with a furrowed brow, wondering if there was something extraordinary about this intern that he had completely overlooked. Amelia sat cross-legged on the floor, distractedly unpacking her suitcase, while Max played nearby. "Oh, I hope Javier is remembering to take the analgesics Dr. Marquez prescribed. Otherwise, the pain will creep up on him right in the middle of his press conference." Just then, her phone buzzed, breaking her thoughts. It was her ex-boss. But, Mr. Schultz, I thought the rules forbade interns from retaking the exam, she said on the phone. What do you mean by orders from above? Yeah, I really appreciate it. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. is perfect, thank you. Amelia hung up the phone, her face lighting up. Things were going her way today. Not only was she back home, well, back at Javier's home, receiving endless welcome back bear hugs from Max, she now found out she would get another shot at her certification exam. Could this be Javier's doing? Did he find the time in his packed schedule to pull strings for me? Even while recovering from his injuries and making a major press appearance. Just a few hours ago, she'd thought Javier wanted nothing more to do with her. That evening, Amelia sat beside Max on his bed, brushing his hair back as his eyelids grew heavy and nothing else mattered. At that moment, her heart was full. Sleep tight, little moon. Don't let the bed bugs bite, big star. He murmured, his voice heavy with sleep. She paused for a moment, watching him drift off to sleep. Her gaze turned toward the window where the moonlight streamed in and Javier's face came to mind. After she spent the last week making his health the center of her universe, she couldn't help but worry about how he was faring at his press conference. He must be exhausted, having to move out in the world and deal with the public for this long. Later, in her bedroom, Amelia turned on the TV to confirm her suspicions and found a broadcast of Javier engaged in a very long press conference. She knew he had to be fading, but by the look of him, you would never guess that his pristine suit was hiding critical injuries. He looked strong and unshakable up there, like a mountain. He was built to be a leader. Just then, the sound of car engines pulling into the driveway jolted Amelia from her thoughts, and she hurried to the staircase just as the front door opened. Javier walked in, his movements stiff, flanked by Victor and several staff members. Victor was the first to greet her. Miss Rivera, you're up late. Amelia's eyes briefly met Javier's, and she wanted to ask how he was feeling, to say that she'd spent all day worried about him. But he looked away. He'd probably feel burdened by her concern for him anyway. I was just getting some water, she made up, feeling uncomfortable about the scrutiny of so many eyes. Javier turned to one of the servants. Take a glass of water to Miss Rivera upstairs, he requested, sounding exhausted. Amelia nodded, intimidated, and retreated up the stairs. Javier dismissed the staff and sank onto the sofa, relieved he wouldn't have to hide his discomfort any longer. He leaned back, closed his eyes, and pressed his hand to his side where the pain was sharpest. From the shadows of the staircase, Amelia watched, her heart clenched at the sight of him, exhausted and worn. She went to the kitchen and returned silently with a glass of water. Here, she said softly. Javier took it and drank it in one gulp, leaning back again. You overexerted yourself, didn't you? She asked gently. He grunted in response. You shouldn't push yourself so hard yet, she insisted. Is that your advice or an order, Dr. Rivera? He asked, his eyes still shut. Which will work best on you? She challenged. Neither. The interests of my country are more important than my physical discomfort, he replied, then opened one eye with a soft grin. But I didn't hate when you bossed me around all week. She crossed her arms, commanding. Then I order your highness to rest and take all your medication. Just then, his tired eyes softened, and Amelia remembered her makeup exam. Javier, I have to thank you for something. He raised his brow. You do? A sweet smile crossed her lips, and they found themselves just staring at each other. But just as she was about to speak, her phone erupted with a loud buzz and shattered the moment. She scrambled to silence it, but ended up fumbling the phone, which hit the floor with a thud. Javier became impatient. Just take it before you wake up Max. She smiled apologetically, then saw her caller ID read Thomas. She stepped into the adjacent room to answer. Hello?
Did I wake you?
Thomas's voice sounded warm on the other side. No, I was up. Is everything okay?
Couldn't sleep, and I thought of you.
Sorry to hear I'm keeping you up then, she teased.
Yeah, I was anxiously expecting your call, then figured you might want me to take the initiative and congratulate you myself.
Wait, what are you talking about?
The exam! I convinced your boss he'd be a fool not to let you retake it. Did they not tell you yet?
They did. That was you? Amelia was surprised. She assumed it had been Javier's doing. Why did it feel a bit disappointing to learn it wasn't him?
You thought it was one of your other charmingly handsome blind dates?
Amelia laughed. No, I just didn't realize a divorced middle school teacher had that kind of pull. Wow, thank you.
You can thank me properly over a meal, and I'll tell you more about the secret, powerful lives of middle school teachers. We run America.
She chuckled again.
It's a date then. Officially, this time.
They settled on a breakfast date at the Gables golf course in a few days. Meanwhile, Amelia's voice echoed faintly through the estate, and Javier, still seated in the living room, overheard enough to piece together who was on the other end of the call. The blind date guy. And that they would soon meet again at the golf club. When Amelia turned back toward the living room, she saw Javier slowly making his way up the staircase. His movements were labored, his body clearly worn from the day's events. She hurried to his side. Oh, careful on the stairs. Want to hold my arm? He simply grunted, and she tensed up, not understanding what she had done to offend him this time. Worried he might overexert himself on the stairs, she silently followed behind. When they reached the point where their paths diverted to their separate rooms, she heard a deep voice abruptly call out. Amelia. She turned to see an unreadable emotion in his eyes. You deserve more than a divorced schoolteacher you met on a blind date. Caught off guard, Amelia opened her mouth to respond, but no words came out. Javier continued, his voice hoarse after straining his body on the stairs. You're a brilliant woman. Don't sell yourself short.
To find out what happens next, download the Pocket FM app in the next minute to get free access to all episodes of The Royal Accident for free.